This video is to show you how to make a jelly bean squid. So this cute little squid is a completely no-sew project, and I have made it here with Hobbii Honey Bunny Plum. And today in my example, I'm going to be using Hobbii Honey Bunny Mulberry. And I also have white and black medium worsted weight yarn, just for the little facial details here. And I'm going to be using an H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter. I have 10 millimeter safety eyes, which are optional. You can embroider the eyes on if you prefer. And then I've got my sewing needle, scissors, stitch markers, and of course a bit of stuffing. So before we get started, if you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, once this video goes public, there'll be a free version available on my website. And I also have a paid version available on Ravelry and Etsy, and I will link all of that below in the description for you. In addition, when you are following along with the video, if you'd like to adjust the playback speed, you can do that by going to the cog in the upper right corner, and there's a drop-down menu. On that menu, click Adjust Playback Speed, and then you can speed it up or slow it down, whatever your preference is. And don't forget, you can always pause to take a break or to get caught up. And that's about it. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the tentacle. And what we want to do with that is start with about a 4-inch tail and create a slip knot. Then we're going to chain 21. Okay, so once you've completed your chain of 21, you're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, double crochet in your next chain, and then you want to triple crochet in the next chain. Sometimes this is known as a treble crochet. And then double crochet in the next chain. And then you want to single crochet in the last 16 stitches or chains. So again, single crochet in the next 16 chains. So I'm working in the back bump here while I'm working down my chain. You don't have to do that. I just like, because then it has the same pattern on the front and back. So you see how we've got the little V shape here, and then we also have it on this side. But you can work in the chain however you prefer. Okay, so once you've completed your last single crochet, you want to leave about a 4-inch tail again, and then just pull that tail through your last loop. So we're going to use these yarn tails to attach our tentacle into the body of our squid. So go ahead and make a second tentacle, and when we come back, we're going to start the head and body. We're going to begin our head and body. So to do that, we want to start with a magic ring. Now, if you don't like doing magic rings, especially with the chenille style yarn, then go ahead and chain 2 and then place all of your stitches from the first round in the second chain from the hook. So if you're doing a magic ring, you're going to place 6 single crochet stitches into the ring. I like to do mine nice and loose to make it easier to close the ring. Okay, and then close it. All right, and don't forget to add your stitch marker to the last stitch. So for round 2, it'll be an increase round, and we're going to go from having 6 stitches up to 12 stitches. And to do that, we need to place 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch around. So again, we're going to increase in each stitch by placing 2 single crochet stitches. Okay, and then for round 3, again, we're going to be doing an increase round. This time we're going to go from 12 stitches up to 18. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in our next stitch and then place 2 single crochets in the stitch after that. And repeat that 6 times in total. So again, single crochet in your next stitch and then do an increase by placing 2 single crochets in the stitch after that. And repeat a total of 6 times. Okay, so next up is round 4, and again we're going to be doing an increase round, and this time we're going to go from having 18 stitches up to 24 stitches. So to do that, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches and then place 2 single crochets in the stitch after that, and we'll repeat that 6 times in total. So again, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches and then place 2 single crochets in the stitch after that, and repeat 6 times in total. Okay, so next up is rounds 5 and 6, and I am going to do those off camera because for rounds 5 and 6 we are going to be single crocheting in each stitch around. So you're going to start with 24 stitches and end with 24 stitches for both of those rounds. So again, for rounds 5 and 6, you want to single crochet in each stitch around. So I'll meet you back here for the beginning of round 7. Okay, so here we are at the beginning of round 7. Now this round is a little bit different in that we're going to be skipping some stitches in order to make the little top here of our squid. So to begin, we want to start by single crocheting in the next 3 stitches. So this is a decrease round, but we're not going to decrease in a traditional way. So again, start by single crocheting in the next 3 stitches. And then we are going to skip the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then we want to single crochet in the next 6 stitches after that. So completely disregard these 6 stitches and then just start here in this 7th stitch. Okay, single crochet, and we're single crocheting in the next 6 stitches here. So we've already done the 1, and then we need to do another 5. Okay, and then we're going to skip the next 6 stitches again. And then we will single crochet in the last 3 stitches. So again, we're just skipping right over those stitches so that it sticks out like this. Okay, so then eventually we will sew up the little holes here that were made from skipping the stitches, but we are going to focus on just continuing in rounds here in this middle section. Okay, so for round 8, we're going to do an increase round. We have 12 stitches left after we skipped all those stitches here in round 7. And then round 8, we're going to go from having those 12 stitches up to 18 stitches. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and then place 2 single crochets in the stitch after that. And we'll repeat that 6 times in total. So again, single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the stitch after. Repeat 6 times in total. Again, we're just completely ignoring all those skipped stitches, and we will sew up those holes a little bit later. Okay, so for rounds 9 to 11, so the next 3 rounds, you're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So you will continue to have 18 stitches after each of those rounds, and then I will meet you back here for round 12. So rounds 9, 10, and 11 will all be single crocheting in each stitch around. So here I am at the beginning of round 12. So for the last 3 rounds, we single crocheted in each stitch. This round is a decrease round, and we're going to go from having 18 stitches down to 16 stitches. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 7 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease. And we will repeat that twice. So again, single crochet in the first 7 stitches. And then single crochet decrease. And repeat again. Okay, so double check that you have 16 stitches because that'll be crucial to our next round. For our next round, we are going to start adding our legs on. So to do that, we're going to be working in the front loop of the next stitch. So there's a note in the pattern to tell you that the front loop only refers to just what's in the brackets right beside it. So for example, I have the front loop only, bracket, and then slip stitch, chain 15. So all of that is worked in that same front loop stitch. So when you look at each stitch, there's a front loop and a back loop. That's what creates the V. It's just this front loop that we're working in to start. And then in the round after, we'll work in the back loop. So to begin the first leg, you want to slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch and then chain 15. Okay, and then you want to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then single crochet in the next 13 stitches. So we're single crocheting all the way down our chain. You can work in whatever part of the chain you prefer. I find there's more of a curl if you're working just like in the back. Sorry, there's less. So once you've worked back along the chain, then you want to slip stitch into the same front loop from where you started your leg. And then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and you can work under the front and back loops for that stitch. Okay, and we're going to repeat this process with our leg and then our single crochet. We're going to repeat that 8 times in total. So again, you want to slip stitch in the front loop of the next stitch, chain 15, and then single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then single crochet in the next 13 stitches, or sorry, in the next 13 chains. Working all the way back. So I'm choosing to work in the back bump of the chain again, which makes it so that there's less curl in the leg. If you work in one of the other parts, like in this back part of the V, then it'll make your legs have more curl. So you can do that if you prefer. Slip stitch in the front loop, same one where you started your leg, and then single crochet in your next stitch. So go ahead and repeat that 6 more times to make your legs, and when we come back, I'll start round 14 with you. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 13. So double check that you've got your 8 legs. And then what you'll notice about this last round is that we ended with 8 single crochet stitches. So those are the stitches in between your arms, plus 8 back loops. So those are the loops that were left when you worked in your front loop to make the leg. So these back loops here are what we're going to work in for our next round in order to keep working in continuous rounds. So to begin round 14, we're going to single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet stitch, and we're going to repeat that around, so 8 times in total. So you're beginning with 16 stitches technically, and you will end with 16 stitches as well. So continue to work around with working in the back loop, then in the single crochet. Okay, so after round 14, we're going to place the animal down on the hard surface. Now I consider the part where the end of your round is to be the back, but it doesn't really matter which way the animal faces. And then we want the tentacle or the legs facing you and the head portion facing away. And we are going to take a look here at the body, and we want to add in these tentacles. So to do that, we're just going to pull them in using our hook and the tails that were left. So you want to be on opposite sides of the body. So we've got sort of this head piece here that comes in. We want those on either side, and then flip up the legs here, and you want to put them, the tentacles, on either side here. Now, if the legs don't work out perfectly evenly, that's okay. You can, let's show you kind of here. You can just place the tentacles like not in line with the legs if you prefer. Okay, so then I'm going to find this last round that we did. I'm just going to put my hook through. And I'm going to grab one of the tails from the tentacle, pull it through the body, and then I'm going to do the same right beside on the other side of the stitch here that I had chosen. See, so before I tie it, see how they're on either side of this stitch that's here? So we'll just pull those in, and then we'll tie them off here on the inside. So we want to do that with both tentacles. You want to make sure you're not obstructing the stitches for the next round. So you're working in the sides of the stitches. So see how you can still see the V here. You want to make sure you can still see that. Okay, so there's one tentacle. Then we're going to go over here and grab the second one. Oh, I want to work the other way. Pull that side in, go to the other side of the stitch. There we go. And then just tie that off as well. Okay, now before we begin working our last round, we still have a couple things we want to do here. First, we want to add the eyes. So to do that, you're going to put the squid back on your surface here to line up where you want the eyes to go. And we want the eyes to be on round 9 of the head, approximately 5 stitches apart. So we count down from the top here. See this, the circle in the middle? That's round 1. And then all these ridges are an extra round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we want them on this ridge here. So what I'm going to do is put the first one in. I'm just kind of guessing, but I'm on the right round. And then I'm going to count over 5 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that brings me out to here. So then I'm just going to check to see if that looks even. And it does. That's pretty close. So if it wasn't though, what I would do is I would move one eye over one stitch and then move the next eye over a stitch and see how that looks. And just keep sort of moving them back and forth until they're in the spot you like. And you don't have to keep them at 5 stitches apart either. Like if your stitches work out that 4 stitches apart makes them even, then that's okay too. But this is how I would decide where to place the eyes. And then I'm going to go ahead and secure these here. And what I also want to do, once I'm done securing them, is I'm going to find a scrap piece of yarn. And I'm going to sew up the sides here. I'll sew up these sides. Okay, so I'm going to find, I'd say about 18 inches of yarn. You could wait till the end of the project to do this if you want. But I just grabbed the other end of this ball of yarn and cut some yarn off. What I'm going to do is thread my needle. And I'll show you how I sew these ends. So just go to the side and you want like 3 stitches kind of on each side here. And we're just going to sew everything together. Okay, and then I usually just go out here, back out to where I started, and then I'm going to tie a knot and weave in the ends, and I will then do the same for the other side. Okay, and then go ahead and weave in those ends. Okay, so once those ends are in, then go ahead and stuff the body. I'm going to make sure you get right into the corners of the head piece there. All right, so there we go. So let's start round 15. So round 15 is a decrease round, and we're going to go from having 16 stitches down to 8 stitches. So to do that, we're going to decrease in each set of stitches. So we'll decrease 8 times around. So again, we're going to do 8 decreased stitches so that we end up with having 8 stitches at the end of our round here. Okay, so to end off here, you want to leave about 6 or 8 inches of yarn, and then you're gonna slip stitch to your next stitch, pull your yarn through, and then using your sewing needle, you want to cinch up the last 8 stitches. So if you need to, go ahead and add a little bit extra stuffing, and if not, just cinch up your stitches. And then all that's left is a little bit of eye detailing once we've completed this section. A little knot and weave in your end. Okay, so there we go. Next up, we're going to do some eye embroidery. So I'm going to start with the white. So you only need about 12 inches or so of white. To begin, you want to start by inserting your needle just underneath the eye in any of the stitches, and then come out in the center right underneath the eye. Come as close as you can to the eye, and then you want to go back down in the center of the eye as close as you can to the eye, and come back out here just underneath the other eye. Okay, and pull those in place. So pull them down. There we go. Okay, and then come back up, right the center under the eye, as close to the eye as you can get, and then down the center of the eye as close as you can get, and then you want to come back out, ideally right here where you first inserted your needle, but if you have to come out here and then jump over to there after, that's okay too. And then you want to pull. Add quite a bit of tension on that so that it doesn't undo. There we go. We'll just tie this up and then push the knot and the ends into the squid. Okay, so next up I'm going to show you how I did the little mouth as well. So for that you want, again, about 12 inches, but this time of the black yarn. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we want to find sort of the round below the eyes. And we want to go through the middle stitches. So I'm going to start out a little bit farther here. So I'm under about 4 stitches. And I'm going to insert my needle there. You want to keep a few inches at the side. And then I'm going to come back over to the side where I first inserted my needle. And this piece of string is what we want to come continuously around here to make our smile. And then we want to sort of tack it in place in 2 spots. So to do that, we're going to come out. So we've gone in again where we started. So you're in a big loop. And then we're going to come out around here where our smile is going to go. And this is going to hold it in place here. So you want to go back in on the opposite side of this string. And then come out a couple stitches over. So you can come out on either side of the yarn, it doesn't matter, as long as you go back in on the opposite side. And then go back, make sure you've gone around your yarn, and then out where you started. There you go. You can play with that a little bit with the needle to make sure it's not too tight. Okay, and then we just tie it off like we did with the white and weave the yarn into the body here. And then once you've woven it in, if you find your mouth isn't sitting right, you can go ahead and use your needle again to adjust it. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. We now have our baby squid. Bye for now.